viewers to my views on news. I hope you all are doing well and keeping yourself safe and healthy. Hello, Mr. Sajid, how are you?
I'm fine. How are you, Miss Emma? We were waiting for the third part of Isaias Afwerki's interview. I think you have questions about the third part. Am I right?
Yes, you're absolutely right. So a while ago, Mr. Isaias has given his third part of the interview, and this time he has talked on domestic issues. So here we are with the highlights. Mr. Sajid, this time the way the interview started was little different than the other two times. So what was the difference, and why do you think this start was a different start?
I don't know the reason, but in previous two parts of the interview started with journalists welcoming viewers, and then they started questions. But this time we saw a patriotic song of Helen Malice, an Eritrean famous singer. And we saw pictures of some projects, of some dams, agricultural projects. So the interview started with a patriotic tone, maybe because it is on domestic issues. And this interview was slightly smaller. He spoke for around an hour, around 60 minutes. But his earlier two parts, part one and part two, about regional international issues, the interviews went on for around 80, 90 minutes. And so far, this interview is less watched. Eri-TV, I was just checking number of views. Previous two interviews were watched by tens of thousands of people. Maybe because that interview was a matter of interest for Ethiopians, for Tigrayans. But this time, only local audience, Eritrean diaspora, is watching. That is why lesser number of views.
Well, Mr. Sajid, one of the main issues of Eritrea is the supply of water. Did he say anything regarding it? Did he share any plan how to improve it?
Yeah, the interview started with questions from journalists about water supply systems, because Eritrea is one of those East African countries which are facing this problem. Majority of population does not have access to essential water services. And Eritrea has done a lot, by the way. This is one of sectors of one of the sectors where Eritrea has done something. I mean, Eritrea has built lots of dams in the past, and they built on their own without any foreign support. And Eritrea has built hundreds of small dams in the past 2 to 3 decades. But Isaias did not share his achievements. Rather, when he talked about water supply systems, he said that though some progress had been made, but a lot needs to be done. He shares some numbers in terms of how much water reservoir Eritrea has, though he was not sure. He was asking questions from the journalists. Overall, he said that Eritrea has done some progress has been made, but he said that a lot needs to be done in terms of developing irrigation systems, in terms of conservation of water, proper efficient use of water, but no announcement in terms of what are Eritrean objectives and what has Eritrea achieved so far in this sector. What does Eritrea want to achieve in the next 4 or 5 years? And does Eritrea have any mega project? No such announcement.
What were his views about industrialization and trade? Any of Did he share any kind of policy, any kind of plan, any kind of what was his thinking? What did he say about it?
Well, Eritrean diaspora, I think, has been waiting for this interview. Eritrean diaspora wants to invest in Eritrea. Eritreans living in Eritrea, they want industrialization. You know that Eritrea had hundreds of factories, but for reasons known to Isaias Afwerki, factories were closed years ago. Construction of private houses is not allowed in Eritrea without approval from government. No trade, almost no trade in Eritrea, no imports. So Isaias Afwerki countered sanctions, or he tried to counter disparity between dollar to NACFA exchange rate, official rate, and in black market by closing Eritrean industry and by banning all imports, by closing construction industry. Eritrean diaspora wants to invest in Eritrea. You know that Eritreans are investing abroad. I mean, Eritreans have businesses, they're running businesses in South Sudan, in Uganda, in Angola, in the African countries. They are there, they're running companies, but not in Eritrea. Why? Because in Eritrea, trade is almost zero. Isaias did all this because we know that Eritrean economy mainly reliant on agriculture, fisheries, and diaspora support. When diaspora sends dollars to their families in Eritrea, the government remains in control of those dollars because there are restrictions on withdrawal of money, no businesses, no construction of houses, no imports. It means that government will be in charge of the dollars which are sent by Eritrean diaspora to their families. That is why no trade, no industry, no construction sector improvement. Did not say a word about any plan. I was surprised that he just said that Eritrea was behind in trade, in industrialization, in IT sector. But what are his plans? He shared nothing about this key sector of Eritrean economy.
Well, Eritrea has one of the largest reserves of potash. People say that this untapped treasure of Eritrea can change its economy. Did he share any such plan to explore this all these hidden minerals?
Well, he talked a lot about potential, that Eritrea has potential of producing wind energy, potential of being potential of developing its mineral resources. Eritrea had potential of production of progress in fisheries. But he did not specifically give any roadmap for development of Eritrean mining sector. Kaluli potash project is one of the largest in terms of reserves of potash sulfate in Africa. And an Australian company has been working on this Danakali for years. And we know that a few months ago, a Chinese company bought some shares. It means that Australian company had to sell some shares to Chinese company. Eritrea, it is said that Eritrea can earn a lot from its mineral resources, potash and others, metals as well. And he said that close to Asmara, there were mineral resources amounting to millions of US dollars, their worth. But he did not say anything about how to explore these treasures, how to ensure that Eritrea is able to fully utilize its mineral resources. Nothing was said. Just he talked about potential as if he was a spectator. He was analyzing Eritrean situation like we are doing.
Okay, like he was there since, I mean, he's there since 30 years. Uh, did he talk anything about his achievements? Did he share any of his achievements, what he has done in these 30 years?
No, nothing at all. I mean, I was surprised. What was he talking about? He was just saying that we should do this, we should have done that, we need to explore this, we shouldn't have exported our raw materials, we have lots of potential. I mean, a man in power for around 3 decades is lecturing Eritrean people of what to do. Question is, what did he do in the last 30 years? If Eritrea could not provide electricity, clean
Water.
water to its, who is responsible? If Eritrea could not make use of its mineral wealth, who is responsible? And he did not compare progress in different sectors of economy. He just gave a general picture that Eritrea is full of resources. It has wealth, untapped, unexplored, and what is needed is that it should be explored without sharing any concrete plan. I was hoping that he would speak a little on his achievements, at least in water supply system sector. He did not say anything about achievements. He only said that yes, some progress has been made, but a lot needs to be done. And what should have been done was not done, without naming people, without giving any concrete guidelines.
So what was he blaming anybody? Because I mean, he couldn't do much. Was he blaming somebody?
No, he did not blame anyone, though we were expecting that he could blame Ethiopia, he could blame TPLF, he could blame the US, that sanctions did not allow Eritrea to progress, that EPRDF-led Ethiopian government, TPLF, they tried to strangulate Eritrean economy. He did not say a word. But part 4 is coming in the next week, maybe on next Saturday, he'll speak about domestic issues, I think. So let's see what he has to cover in part 4. So far, he did not blame anyone. He did not blame anyone in the country too. He has only one man to blame, and that is he himself. I mean, he's in charge. If he blames others in Eritrea, it means that he will be blaming himself. So far, no blame from him, but part 4 will maybe be more clear.
So what do you think, Mr. Sajid? Do you think that he addressed the real issues of Eritrea? Do you think he did that, or was he just beating around the bush?
Well, 3 of my friends watched the interview and they shared live translations with me. And firstly, let me thank the 3 friends. They said it was difficult for them to listen to his 90-minute talk, which did not have anything concrete. And not all of them are pro-opposition. Whenever I get translations, I always consult more than one sources. But all 3 separately came to the conclusion that it was all talk. Though he mentioned Eritrean issues, did not say a word about solution, did not say a word about accountability, did not give any roadmap for Eritrea, which could be a ray of hope for Eritrean people. It was all talk from a spectator, from an observer, not from a president. He is president. And we must not forget, he's a very powerful president. All sectors of Eritrean economy, Eritrean government, Eritrean military, foreign policy, everything is under his control. In the end, he is the one who must answer questions. But so far, just proposals. We should do this, we should do that. We shouldn't have done that, and we should do that in future. At least he did not blame people. He did not blame others for the shortcomings, for deficiencies. Let's see if he can improve.
So, how do you sum up the whole interview?
Well, it wasn't good to watch. He was embarrassing, I think. Embarrassing for himself, and no ray of hope for Eritreans in Eritrea.
No
People
timeline, no
after
roadmap, nothing.
Yeah, people in Eritrea and outside Eritrea. After TPLF, after TPLF is no more a threat to Eritrea. Now, people cannot be appeased by Eritrean government that, see, we are under threat, we have to spend a lot on security, we have to build a strong army because we have enemies in our neighborhood. Now, diaspora, Eritreans in Eritrea, they cannot be appeased by this narrative. So they were hoping that the president would share something concrete which could change the future of Eritreans. Nothing was said so far. He's visiting neighboring countries. He was in Kenya a few days ago. Then he went to Saudi Arabia. He's talking about regional integration, regional economic integration, without giving any plan for development, any concrete plan. He just went on talking for around 60 minutes.
Well, I hope that his fourth interview, which is coming next week, I hope we'll get some kind of hope for Eritreans, some kind of plan coming from him. We can just hope and pray. So thank you very much, Mr. Sajid, and thank you, viewers, for watching us. We'll see you next week. Please do write to us and give us your valuable feedback. Bye for now.
Thank you, Mr. Ma. I'm ending this video on a very gloomy note for Eritreans. Let's hope that next week we hear something good for Eritrea from Isaias Afwerki. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.